Yup, that's me playing guitar on the stage. But before I get there, let's start at the beginning. When I think of my childhood, I like to think of myself as a pretty energetic kid. Doing stupid things, screaming, having fun, and of course, getting into trouble. So, having all this energy, it didn't come as a surprise that my parents were like, if you would want to play an instrument, wouldn't you like to play drums? And basically, like that, I started my drum practice journey. Really only learning the basics. And I don't know why, but drumming and I just wasn't the right match. So I quit after just learning the basics. And then some time passed and I grew older. And as time passed, I started staring at my drums, collecting dust in the corner of my room. Thinking it would be pretty cool to actually be good at playing the drums, like I always saw on the TV. So once again, I entered drum classes. And don't ask, but somehow I was good enough to do a show with all the other students. So a couple of weeks passed and the show was officially announced to set place in a local community center. And this show kind of scarred me for life. You see, my main problem was rehearsing because I basically didn't do it. So when it was finally time for the general repetition, 1 week before the show, I totally sucked. And to this day I still remember going home on my bike, crying, feeling not good enough, not wanting to do the show because I could barely play one song. But then I got home and my mom got me straight and convinced me to do the show. So I practiced my ass off for a whole week. And I remember going on the stage, literally shaking because of the nerves. But I made my mom proud and went on the stage and sat behind the drums. And the show kind of went okay, I guess. I remember there were like 15 people who showed up, which were only moms and dads of the people in the band, but yeah. And you would think that after overcoming that mental breakdown and the show turning out okay, I would be very excited to play the drums. No, you're wrong, because a couple of months after the show, I quit once again. And then basically my teenage years happened, which I definitely won't bother you with. But I grew up and noticed that I had this insane urge to learn new stuff. And especially the urge to learn a new instrument. Which obviously was the guitar. Just the idea of a guy sitting at a campfire, playing his songs while everybody sings along. Yeah, that's basically the dream. And let's be honest, if you're able to play the guitar as a boy, it means free p***y for life. And then, quite coincidentally, I remembered my dad bought a guitar way back. Never really played it and thrown it under his bed. Which I guess is what dads do. I don't know either, man. But this was perfect, because it would save me a lot of money, which at the time I definitely didn't have. And at the time I had a very talented friend, which is one of those music guys everyone knows. Playing basically every instrument that ever faced the planet Earth. And he always insisted that he wanted to teach me how to play guitar as well. So I swept the dust off my dad's guitar and finally set my mind to it. And with that, I officially started my guitar journey. So I started off really excited and got my first lesson. Just learning how a guitar works in general, learning how to strum it, and of course learning the first easy chords. And my ultimate goal since the beginning has been to play the song I See Fire from At The Red, and not the easy chords version, but the hard fingerpicking style version. And at the beginning I only started with 2 lessons a month, just because every week 1 lesson would take up so much time in my schedule. And at the time I worked full time, I was starting a business and wanted to also work out every day, so yeah. You know how those things go. And I started off just learning some easy songs like Wonderwall and Surprise from Radiohead, and it went alright, I guess. I mean, Don't get me wrong, I was not talented at all. And I found it really hard to keep practicing with my fingertips burning and also me trying to maintain this very hectic schedule of mine. And I think me trying to do so many things at the same time really made my progress slower than I actually wanted it to be. And you can imagine me getting introduced to bar chords and finger picking. Yeah, it got rough. I haven't filmed a lot in the beginning of 2021, but I just remember I kept practicing finger picking and all the chords except the B chord, because the B chord really sucks. And meanwhile my dad's guitar was literally falling apart. The strings seemed like they could snap off any minute, and this is no joke, but I had to honestly tune the guitar with 2 pliers. It was really poor student life. So in April it was my birthday and I asked for money to buy a new guitar, which I actually got. Like, shout out to my family. And when I went to the guitar shop to buy a brand new guitar, it was just one of those Hollywood moments that I just looked around, and I think in like 4 seconds I immediately knew which guitar it had to be. It just checked every box, and that's actually the one that I bought. So except for the fact that the guitar was actually perfect for me, I noticed that it was also so much more fun to play on an actual decent guitar. Okay, so I practiced Hallelujah. I might sing a little, I can follow it better like that. Fire. So this is my goal, to play it like Ed Sheeran, but I'm now just messing around with some chords and it's going pretty well. So although I didn't put all my time in guitar, I started to make really slowly progress. I could finally play some easy songs like Let It Be, and I was also able to play along with some music of Spotify, which was honestly one of the best feelings I've ever experienced. And sometimes, on a very rare occasion, I played in front of my girlfriend and maybe one very good friend. But I always felt so f***ing nervous playing in front of other people. So when I went on summer camp with my church and someone pushed me to grab my guitar and play, I almost shit myself, dude. But I told myself to suck it up, and for the first time in my entire life, I was playing in front of other people, in a kind of crappy version of a band. And to be honest, it actually went so much better than I expected it to be. And playing there actually gave me such a f***ing rush. So it started just f***ing around, having fun, singing along songs, no pressure at all. But eventually we would have these studies and I would actually play along in the band. And again, this felt just so good, because I would finally see some results of me practicing all these months alone in my room. And I know it isn't anything spectacular or big or serious, but for me it was just another step forward. And after those experiences, I kept practicing, and I still had my 2 lessons in a month. But I decided to quit those lessons of my friend because I found an online acoustic guitar course of Paul David's, which was actually perfect for me because it's basically a roadmap to master the acoustic guitar. So I bought the course, which actually gave me enough material to study and practice for the following year at least. And I also played in a band. And I can hear you thinking that this may sound like the end of my journey. But let's be honest, the band was just in front of people I already knew my whole life. And there weren't microphones, there wasn't a real stage, and there wasn't also a really big audience. And then suddenly in January I received a text message with the question if I'd be down to play in the legit band of my church. And let me get this straight, this actually meant a bigger audience, microphones, a real stage, and also being broadcasted for all the people who are watching from home. And my initial thought was, hell the f*** no! I basically just recovered from my childhood trauma that happened 10 years ago. But then I thought about it longer, and it actually felt like fate was talking to me, giving me this huge chance to get out of my comfort zone, get over my childhood trauma, and get some actual band experience, which I obviously deep inside wanted. So then I practiced. And practiced. And practiced. And before I knew it, I found myself walking on the stage, being f***ing nervous but trying to act cool. And once again, I had a total blast. But I still had one thing left to do. My guitar solo. And yeah, I totally choked. But this time I was not going to give up and cry. And it's now 6 months later, which may complete the 2-year journey, but it definitely didn't put an end to my overall guitar journey. I am to this day still learning and practicing almost every day, and I'm still following the online course. And honestly, looking back, I wish I had done things differently, which would allowed me to be so much more advanced in my journey than I am now. For example, I still need to learn Icy Fire, which was of course my ultimate goal. I'm also still struggling fingerpicking, and overall I think I should have made way more progress. But you know what? I'm also a little bit proud, because I actually played in a band twice now, which I could not imagine starting my journey. And also because last summer I did become the guy, with a guitar, sitting at a campfire with his friends, playing some songs, while we all sang along.
So there you go, okay, make a wife out of my home. I'll never find a way to say I'm sorry, but I'm scared to be alone.